Now it's time for the business news, and our business editor Matthew Warren joins me in studio. Good morning, Matthew. Lots of technology stories this morning and some big announcements from Microsoft.
That's right. The computing giant is making changes to its Windows 8 operating system. It made those announcements on Thursday. Big changes include more interactivity on and a touch screen. Well, why are they doing this? Well, Microsoft's share of the operating system market has been plummeting in recent years, and they're hoping that this and the launch of their new tablet computer will rescue their fortunes.
They're calling it a reimagining of Windows, but it's a crunch moment for Microsoft too. 4 years ago, more than 70% of computers ran a version of Windows, according to research by tech analyst Forrester. This year, with Apple and Google dominating mobile computing, it's found on just 30%. Microsoft is hoping that Windows 8, a multi-platform operating system, will change that. It uses apps for the first time, bought from the new Windows Store. But catching up with rival Apple's iTunes will take time.
Developers are working fast and furiously to stock the shelves of our new store with great apps for the hundreds and millions of people who will get new Windows devices just in the next year.
Japanese consumers queued up for the midnight launch of Windows 8, but gave it mixed reviews.
The operating system itself seems user-friendly, but after testing it, I felt it was slightly clunky, so I don't know whether I'll use it for my tablet.
Microsoft also used the launch to show off its Surface tablet, where it'll try to gain ground in the crowded market dominated by Apple. Profits at Microsoft fell by 22% over the last quarter, albeit to a reasonably healthy figure of $4.4 billion. But investors at least weren't convinced by this launch. Microsoft's shares closed flat on Thursday.
Well, lots of other technology news around this morning as well. Apple sold fewer iPads than expected in the latest quarter. Sales of its tablet computer were down 18%. That's likely to be customers anticipating this week's launch of the new mini iPad. The company matched analysts' expectations with revenues of $36 billion.
Apple's biggest rival, Samsung, also gave its results. It reported record quarterly profits of $7.4 billion. That's up 91% on a year earlier. Strong sales of the Galaxy range of phones helped boost earnings.
But Amazon, disappointed with its latest earnings. The world's largest online retailer posted a loss of $274 million. That's its first loss since 2003. Revenues were up by 27%, but the company said it's made heavy investments to grow the business. It also took a $169 million write-down on its investment in the coupon website Living Social.
And how are the markets looking this morning, Matthew?
Not in great spirits this morning. We can start by taking a look at Asia. Markets there all down. I can tell you one important factor is data out of South Korea. The fourth largest economy in Asia grew at its slowest pace in 3 years, up by just 1.6%. Over in the US, Wall Street also had the jitters, but managed a few small gains on Thursday, as you can see there.
And a worrying development here in France, a downgrade for the biggest bank.
That's right, BNP Paribas was downgraded on Thursday evening by the ratings agency Standard & Poor's. It also changed the outlook to negative for 10 other French banks. It said that difficult economic conditions in the Eurozone have exposed the banks to more risk. Well, the BNP Paribas rating was taken down one notch to A+, and that puts it on par with the view of the other major ratings agencies there.
And more negative news from the banks, and a French bank has now been investigated as part of this inquiry into banks fixing interest rates.
That's right, Claire. Now, this is the LIBOR inquiry, the LIBOR rate being the rate that's used to set interest rates for all sorts of things all around the world. Now, a number of sources, including the Financial Times, are reporting this morning that 9 more banks have been added to that list of 7 banks already under investigation. One of those is France's Société Générale, and we can take a look at the 9 new banks there, as you can see from all around the world. This investigation being carried out by the New York and Connecticut Attorney Generals.
And troubled Peugeot, Citroën, there's some talks going on there today.
That's right. Now, of course, we've been following this for a long time. There were talks happening between the government, between unions and the company as well. The government, of course, earlier this week offered a €7 billion lifeline in loan guarantees, but it wants the company to make some changes to these job cuts of 8,000 that it's announced. Well, the industry minister, Arnaud Montebourg, is particularly keen that older workers are spared. Well, there was one bright spot. Peugeot said it's found a company able to take over the site of the plant north of Paris that it wants to close and hire back 600 of the workers there whose jobs were going to be lost.
And from the car industry to the publishing industry, and there's talks of a big merger on the cards.
Yes, now this is between two of the biggest publishers in the world, Penguin. I'm sure you know these two, Penguin and Random House. Now, Penguin's owned by the Pearson Group. Random House is owned by the German company Bertelsmann. And they're merging, well, at least they're in talks to merge because they're trying to build greater power in a world where ebooks and online reading is becoming much more important. Now, if they came together, they would control about a quarter of UK and US book sales. That means that competition authorities will actually be casting a pretty stern eye over any plans they have.
Thanks for that business roundup, Matthew. Our business editor, Matthew Warren there. And that's all for now, but Lorna is back with you after the weather, so do stay tuned.